I'm a 32-year-old guy, and 3 years ago, I bought my dream house in a quiet, upscale neighborhood. It was the first home I'd ever owned. I bought it with the life insurance money after my dad passed away. For the first 2 months, everything was perfect. Peaceful, calm, exactly what I wanted. And then, I met Susan. Susan was in her 60s, bitter, miserable, and she acted like she owned the entire neighborhood. She was the president of the Homeowners Association, the HOA, you know, the group that's supposed to keep things clean and organized? Yeah. Susan treated it like her own personal mafia. It started small. One day, I came home after a 12-hour hospital shift, completely exhausted, and there it was. A bright orange sticker slapped on my car window. A $500 fine. Why? Because my trash can was left outside 2 hours past the allowed time. I was annoyed, but whatever. I paid it. The next week, a $1,000 fine. Apparently, my backyard grass was 0.5 inches over the legal limit. She had literally sent someone to measure my grass with a ruler. Over the next 6 months, Susan made my life absolute hell. She fined me for the color of my curtains. She had my brother's car towed when he came over for Thanksgiving. She constantly stood behind my backyard fence, watching. I tried to talk to her like a normal human being. She just smirked and said, "Rules are rules. Pay the fines, or we'll put a lien on your house and auction it off." And here's the worst part. She had already done that to 3 other families, forced them out. By the end of the year, she claimed I owed over $25,000 in fines and late fees. Completely bogus. Then came the breaking point. I decided to build a 6-foot privacy fence in my backyard so she'd stop spying on me. I got all the proper city permits, built it perfectly, everything 100% legal. The very next day, while I was at work, Susan showed up with a bulldozer and a private contractor. She trespassed onto my property and had my brand new $8,000 fence completely destroyed. When I called the police, she handed them some fake HOA document, claiming the fence was a safety hazard and that she had full authority to remove it. The police called it a civil matter and left. Then she had the audacity to send me a $15,000 bill for the bulldozer. That's when I snapped. I didn't just want my money back, I wanted to destroy her. Well, I hired a high-profile real estate attorney and a private investigator. I told them to dig into every document Susan had ever filed. What we uncovered was insane. First, my attorney discovered that when the neighborhood was built 10 years ago, the original developer never officially filed the HOA charter with the state, which means the HOA wasn't legally registered. It was fake. Susan had zero legal authority. But it gets better. The private investigator dug into the HOA bank accounts. Susan had been collecting $300 a month from 200 homes for over a decade. On top of that, hundreds of thousands in fines. Where did the money go? Not to neighborhood repairs. She had funneled over $1.2 million into a shell company owned by her son, supposedly for landscaping services. There was no landscaping company. She used the money to buy a beach house in Florida and 3 luxury cars. So I didn't just sue her, I went nuclear. I organized a secret meeting with the other 199 homeowners. I showed them the legal proof that the HOA was fake. I showed them the bank records proving she was stealing from all of us. The anger in that room? Unreal. The next morning, we didn't just show up at her house. We went to the FBI and the IRS. We handed them a perfectly packaged case of financial fraud, wire fraud, and tax evasion. And because she mailed the fake fines through the Postal Service, that's federal mail fraud. 2 weeks later, it was the annual neighborhood block party. Susan was standing on a podium, holding a microphone, about to give one of her usual speeches. Suddenly, 3 black SUVs pulled up. Federal agents and local police surrounded the area. Right there, in front of the entire neighborhood, they put her in handcuffs. She was screaming, "I'm the president. You can't do this. I own all of you." The lead agent calmly said, "You have the right to remain silent." Susan was convicted of multiple federal crimes and sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. All her assets were seized and auctioned to repay the homeowners. The fake HOA was permanently dissolved. The neighborhood is peaceful now. And my new 8-foot privacy fence, it looks absolutely beautiful. Story 2. Don't mess with the IT guy. Now let me tell you about instant karma. I worked as the lead IT systems manager for a mid-sized logistics company for 5 years. I built their entire database from scratch, worked 60-hour weeks, never took vacations. When I was promised a major promotion, then last month, the CEO called me into his office. He said they were restructuring, and just like that, I was fired, replaced by his 22-year-old son who had just graduated with an art degree and didn't even know how to restart a router. I was furious, but I smiled, handed over my keys, and walked out. Here's what my arrogant boss didn't realize. The cloud servers, the main domain, the critical software licenses, all of it was registered under my personal LLC. Why? Because years ago, they refused to pay for corporate accounts and told me to just use my own card and expense it. 2 days later, my severance check bounced, so I simply canceled the auto renewals on my credit card and legally revoked my LLC's licensing access. Within 48 hours, their entire logistics network went dark. Where trucks had no routing data, client systems were locked, and the CEO's son had absolutely no clue what to do. My boss called me in a panic, begging me to fix the glitch. I told him I don't work there anymore, but my freelance consulting rate is now $500 an hour, minimum 100-hour retainer, paid upfront. He wired me $50,000 just so I could flip a switch. It took me 5 minutes. The best part? Clients found out about the security failure and pulled their contracts. 3 months later, the company filed for bankruptcy. Moral of the story? Don't mess with the IT guy.